We have a lot of issues to discuss this morning. Hopefully, we'll make judicial use of our time and get to speak to all of them while we are at it. But thank you for joining us. The show is interactive. We'd like to hear from you, so send us your thoughts, your comments, and contributions. Let us know what you think about the stories that we will be discussing on the show. Now, let me do a quick introduction of my guest, and then we can zoom straight into the conversation. Alhaji Kamaldeen Abdallah is here with us. He's a Deputy National Communications Director for the New Patriotic Party, NPP, but he's also served as a former ambassador to Saudi Arabia. Alhaji, good morning.
Good morning. A bit of a correction.
Right.
Former Consul General, Ghana's Consul General to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Consul General.
Ambassador, we have an ambassador,
Right.
we do have a Consul General,
Right.
so basically.
Thanks for that clarification. Thank you and welcome. Elvis Dako is here. Elvis is the editor of the News Center newspaper, newscenter.com. Elvis, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you. We're back again, another week, and yes, there's still more conversations to be had. We're starting off with a rather sad one. On Friday, the remaining 6 of the victims of the helicopter crash were laid to rest. Already 2 had been laid to rest in accordance with Islamic rites, and the remaining 6 were buried on Friday in that state funeral. A number of tributes were read to them. Quite a solemn ceremony, well organized if you asked me, and of course, we continue to pray that the souls of the departed will rest in the bosom of our dear Lord. Let me start off with you, Alhaji. Quite a heartbreaking news, heart-wrenching, devastating one, a big blow to us as a country, losing our compatriots in the way and manner in which we lost them. But we've laid them to rest. The life after is where the difficulty is, especially for the families of these victims. When all is said and done and everyone leaves, when the government is done with its ceremony and everything, it's for the families who will be looking at the empty spaces on the bed. They won't be getting the routines they are used to with their fathers and all. I mean, share your thoughts with us regarding this matter.
Well, thank you very much. And once again, good morning to you and good morning to my good friend Elvis, and also to our viewers. A solemn occasion it was, and a solemn occasion it will remain. Memorable as it may appear, but of course in bad taste to all of us as Ghanaians.
Yeah.
Yes, like you did indicate, the first 2 gentlemen, Honorable Mutala, who I had a very personal relationship with, and also Alhaji Lemuna, were interred or buried in accordance with the Islamic principles or Islamic, if you like, customs. Then followed the other 6,
Yes.
who indeed were all illustrious sons of this country. In Islam, when it happens like this, what we usually say is Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. To you we come from, and to you is our return. That is what Allah has admonished us to say as Muslims. And you rightly put it, this is the time people who were close to them would actually feel their absence.
Exactly. Yeah.
The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is on record to have said and told we Muslims that, look, when something like this happens, the very first day, the people who gather at your homes, those who gather at the grave sites will go away after a 1 week.
Yeah.
That is when the family will indeed feel that we have had an absence or we have an absence. And in this case, that is where you need to, if you like, if you can reach out to them, continue to keep them, as it were, in company. To the extent that under Islamic principles, you don't even cook in the house. Don't allow them to cook. The neighbors are supposed to be taking care of their dinner, their lunch.
Okay.
They don't even have to cook because they are actually in a mood that you can't even explain. But like I said, this is life. It's a journey we shall all embark on. Whichever way, we don't know. God has decided in his wisdom to hide that to us. So when it happens to a brother, when it happens to a sister, reflect, put yourself in the shoes of that person. And also recall or remember that this world is in the tentative. It is not permanent. We will surely go or depart and then one day leave the world behind. That is why you must have two bank accounts. You must have the worldly bank account and you must also have the eternal bank account. A scholar in Islam said something that when you set up for business and gain something or profit, that profit in your hand, you only have two that belongs to you. The one you use to purchase food and eat into your stomach is yours. The other one that you use or take part to give in charity or alms to people, grow, bless people, that is a bank account you have saved for yourself in future. I mean, in the eternity. Now, what is left is for people to inherit. It's not yours. You can buy all the houses. You can buy all the cars. Remember, you are not doing it for yourself. You are doing it for others. People you don't even know. People you may not even have linked to. So clearly, I just think that this is a solemn occasion. This is something that we all need to reflect on. It happened in a very, let me use the word crude, even though God in his wisdom knows why. In a very crude way, not by their making, not by our making, but by the making of anybody. However, we would have to continue to pray for the departed and also pray for ourselves as we remain again. Ghana has been in a state of mourning, but I believe, inshallah, we shall recover from it again and then life moves on.
Very well, Aji. Thank you so much. Elvis, your thoughts on the final funeral rites and, of course, the fund that the president mentioned for the victims' children?
Oh, I think the final funeral rites, I think the nation did its best by giving them that befitting barrier. And I think that we should just pat ourselves in the back that at least we decided to give them that befitting goodbye. And I think that was in the right direction. And obviously, those who are left behind is the major problem. Because if they are anybody who depends on these people for anything, whether emotional support, financial support, encourage, whatever it is, from now they will never get that support from that person anymore. And for me, both Islam and Christianity made it clear to us to understand that the world is not our home and that we have a permanent home to go to one day. Both religions made it clear that we will die. And both religions made it clear that after death, there's going to be judgment. And both religions made it clear that those who God will find worthy will have a everlasting place to live. So for those left behind, they need to console themselves in the fact that if we belong to both religions, we believe that this world is a temporal place. And the Bible says every human being, once you are born, know that you are going to die one day. How you are going to die is what you don't know. But for the death, it is guaranteed that everybody will die. And I always say that if we had come to meet people who are 500 years old, 1,000 years old, maybe we would doubt whether we are going to die. But in our generations, you hardly find anybody who is 150 years old and still strong, alive and moving. And that gives me that evidence that the Bible statement that we all know that we are going to die one day is not in doubt. So if you are a human being, you know that you die one day. And the question is, what relationship do you have with God? As he said that you have a bank, but the Bible says that we should build our homes, our treasures, we should keep them in heaven. And that whatever we have on earth is vanity. And that it's not what we should actually rely on. Whatever we are doing on earth, every material thing we see on earth, the Bible says is vanity. Say God doesn't need them. If you are a Christian, the Bible says a day will come, God will destroy everything, including all the mansions, the cars. Say God does not need them. Where you are going, He has better things there for us. So we must all understand that this life that we are all living, one day we will all go. We will all go. And that is what all of us should keep in mind. I think the state setting up the fund, for me, it's a defining moment for us to realize that we need to honor those left behind. And the announcement of the fund has also come with criticisms because people have pointed to the fact that in 2002, 7 Air Force officers also died in similar fashion in the Gov't Mountains. Is it because they are not politicians among them? That is why when they died, the state didn't set up any fund for their family? Is it too late? Or is it possible that we could, as a nation, say that, well, it's an oversight, and therefore this fund that we are setting up will not be only for the families of the fallen 8, but those that we actually did not compensate or we didn't do anything for in the past, we want to include them. Last week I told you where the former defense minister said that civilians who die in such military aircraft are not entitled to any insurance coverage because the military equipment are not insured. Because now at that time, questions were being asked to people who died 4 years earlier in a military helicopter crash, whether the state has compensated them or there was any insurance. It says no, they are not entitled to any insurance because the equipment are not insured. So for me, I think that beyond setting up the fund for these people, I'm of the view that if we can expand it and rather make it a permanent fund, that for the military, because we as a country are unable to find the necessary money to insure their equipment, we are putting up a certain fund that is there that in any time any person in the armed forces happens to fall for similar fate, there can be some fund that we can easily rely on to support. I'm not sure that we want to stay here maybe in 10 years' time, another one happened, that we are setting up another fund. I think that is something that we really need to look at, and not only need for the military. Some people are asking, so is it because they work for the government, that's why we are setting up a fund? And somebody asked me, what about the June 3rd disaster victims, those who are alive up to today, who have always been crying that they are so struggling for life because their livelihoods have been lost, they have been destroyed beyond conditions where they can work for themselves. There is no support to them for survival, to the extent that some of them have been in court with the government for over a decade now trying to seek compensation, and up to now the courts who have been turning the issues up and down. The question people are asking, so are those people being treated that way because they were not working for government? Were the 7 military officers who died in 2002, is it the state didn't set up any fund for them because there are no politicians among them? So people are asking questions, and which I think that is also making it look like in this country, unless you're a politician, when things happen to you, the state doesn't really care about you. And I believe strongly that it's a wake-up call for all of us to recognize that every Ghanaian is a Ghanaian. And if something happens to any Ghanaian, the state must show that kind of interest. The person should not only be working for the state, or the person should not be only a politician. Because how come that 7 officers of the Navy, of the Air Force, died in 2002, and we have not set up any fund for their families? And then today 8 are dead. And because there are 5 politicians among them, we are setting up a fund. It makes the ordinary person question the way the state operates. It makes ordinary person have this feeling that then if you are not a politician, you don't matter in the scheme of things in this country. And I think that we should use this occasion as an opportunity, and I will even put it before the members of parliament, that if they resume, it will be an opportunity for them to say, yes, it's a good step that the state has taken, but they will believe as parliament that if we can set up a certain form of a fund to compensate everybody that gets into similar situation, so that people will be happy. As I said here the last time, nurses are in the rural areas. Some are on the way to island communities to inoculate or provide health care, and the boat capsized and they died. Who compensates them? Who has a fund for them? If a teacher is traveling from one community to another to go and teach, and there's an accident, then the teacher dies, who compensates? They are all working for the state. Even if those of us are not working for the state, what about other state institutions? There are people who have been dispatched to go and do a state duty, and on their way, there's an accident and they die. Where is any form of compensation or fund to support those? So I am thinking that once we have realized that it's important to support those left behind, probably President has announced it that it's for the fallen aid, but it's not too late for us to say we want to expand it. And even the state should have a certain amount that every budget should make a certain contribution into that fund. In addition to the contribution from corporates and ordinary people, so that we say this fund is there. Anytime that things happen like this, we will rely on to support those left behind.
Right. That was. Alad, you want to chip in something?
I have a difficulty on the aspect of ideas on this fund. First of all, let's establish that an accident is undefined. It can happen at any time.
Right.
What we ought to do as a people, for me, in my view, is to strengthen the institutions that we all have as a country established.
Right.
Now, what are the mechanisms put in place within the ambit of the Ghana Armed Air Forces, the Ghana Armed Forces, and of course the Navy?
Right.
So that in the unlikely event an event like this happens, okay, the arrangements within gives some respite to the family left behind. Okay, if we do have some, what is our social, welfare interventions that we have made? I believe that is what we should look at. But ad hoc setting up of fundings, okay, or funds, I should say, I mean, it's for me, it's a non-starter.
This tragedy aside,
okay,
don't you think we should have a fund of a national nature that can deal with issues of public officials or public servants?
It's exactly what Elvis is espousing.
Yeah.
Elvis says, look, it is important we have a fund like this. First of all, I'm here to cite a law that says that we should have a fund. We should establish such a fund anyway. We do have institutions like Senate, we have institutions like the pension scheme, we have all this are there. However, if we need to promulgate a law or to enact a law that says that, look, government will set up a fund, which fund is to deal with contingency issues at the right time. I mean, issues that we do not even all anticipate. And when it so happens, out of the fund, a percentage of this, something like, will go to families that, of course, are affected. A good example is when Elvis talked about the military men or the army men who fell some time ago. What did we do for them? So if this idea is coming up, then we can moot the idea properly, put it before Parliament, get a law to back it, set up a fund like that. It's not touchable until we move on. Otherwise, we're going to open the floodgates for funds. I mean, people to be setting up all manner of funds.
Right.
We're setting up this, we're setting up that. Nothing stops you as a family to do something like that or set up foundations that will call this. But of course, we should try to streamline it and get a law put in place, of course, and then set up something like that. So otherwise,
this fund should have legal backing.
Yes, it should have legal backing, basically. If we don't have something like that, we risk opening the floodgates.
Right. But Elvis, back to you on this same fund. It talks about the children of the victims. But these victims we know were philanthropists, benevolent people. They had people out of their, if you like, immediate family depending on them. We've heard even the Honorable Minister for Education, Aruna Dusu, say he will take care of some, I think 47 students that the Honorable Mutala was taking care of. So what happens to these dependents as well?
I said it here last week that for me, those left behind are not only the children. Some that are gone have surviving parents. And probably the person that is gone is the only one capable of providing for their needs. And now that other person is gone and there's no support for that, well, who takes care of that person? You see, it's a surviving parent. And now he's lost the son in an accident. And that son is the one who makes sure that his or her electricity bill, water bill, food is provided, health is provided, everything. And now that person is gone. And then if there's a support, it's for the children and not for the other beneficiaries. I think parents are important. Even with the children, they didn't even include the spouse. What about the spouse? The spouse is a direct beneficiary of the person who has passed. Why? So I think I made the point here last week that the kind of support we want to, if we are going to do it, it should not be restricted to only the kids. We should, on case basis, look at these people. Who are their direct dependents? Is there a way that the state can make sure that these people benefit? Somebody was suggesting that these people, he believes that they should rather also be put on the salaries that their family members were earning till retirement, so that even though they are dead and gone, to support the families. The salaries they are earning should continue to be paid to the families for until there is time for their retirement, and then whatever retirement package that is there, they give it to the family. So the person also think that instead of setting up a fund, it would rather be better if whatever salaries they are earning is rather extended to their family for their period. But
that's debatable.
That will work for probably the Air Force people.
No, but
for a politician,
even the Air Force
4 years
people, we don't know when they will resign and move into other fields.
This one resign is not out. It's no longer there. The person is no more. So the assumption is that then the person is going to serve to retirement. You understand it?
So we are going to formalize ghost names.
It's not a ghost name. These are not ghost names. The person, if the person had not died, he will continue to be on that salary. And these are ideas people think that instead of setting up a fund that looks like discriminatory because it cannot be done for others. If you extend what the person is earning, then it becomes automatic that if the person dies in service, not only because of this, but if the person dies in service, that is extended. But then I ask myself, what about if I'm working in the Ministry of Health and I die? Are you going to say that my salary should also be extended to my relatives until 60? So now also, if you look at it from the larger scale, and you look at the government payroll, and look at the number of people who work for government, even though the person is dead, somebody else will be recruited to replace the person. So now you are paying double salary for that position because somebody is gone and you are extending the benefits to the surviving family. And then you are recruiting somebody also to replace the person. So at the end of the day, if you want to say anybody that works for the state should be treated that way, you are going to have a huge problem in terms of the payroll. Payroll. And because if you do it that way, it means that public is not contributing to the fund. But if you set up a fund, aside government making contribution maybe annually, there's opportunity for public, and there could even be opportunity for fundraising events to actually get money from corporates and individuals to support. So then the financial burden of government does not become too much. So that suggestion, it sounds good, but then I ask myself, why should it be only the military or the police? Why not? If they are saying so because they work for government, then all the maybe 1 million people on the payroll of government of Ghana should also get the same benefit. And see, this thing opens up for a lot of discussions. You understand it? It brings up issues of how we work for the public, and when something happens to you, what happens to you? I can tell you that there are people who have worked for state institutions. They are not dead. They have debilitating sicknesses, and you'll be surprised that the institutions have taken them off payroll. And now they can't take care of themselves. I remember about 8 or 10 years ago, we had to follow a case for a fire service personnel who had a stroke living in Ho and had been taken off the payroll because they said he's not working. And this guy needs money to go to hospital. It took us a lot of battle. We have to go to the fire service head office here. That time was with the fine that we took it up that we'll fight for this guy. The kind of explanation, restrictions, the challenge we had to go through, just asking that the person was in active service and the person had a stroke. Why stop his salary because he has a stroke and is no longer be able to report to duty? Why don't you see it as the person is, because the argument is the sickness is not something that happened to me in line of duty. A stroke happened to anybody. It's not like he's going to douse fire and they got bent. That one then means that they take. But if it's just a normal sickness, there is not their responsibility. So there are issues with how people who work for organizations, especially the state, when they face sicknesses, the way the state institutions react, the kind of support system, it's a whole caboodle of conversation we need to have, not only because people have died in an accident.
That's what you mentioned, the welfare systems in these institutions.
Which if you talk to a lot of public institutions, people are going through a lot. Once you are sick, you can't report to work. Before you realize somebody has stopped your payment. For instance, they say controller has come around to do a verification before they pay. And they come and you are not on the seat. And they say you are not reporting to work. Controller is not going to find out whether there's any support system for it. He says, when they came for validation, you were not at work. And the report is that for the past 1 month, you have not been at work. Whether you are sick or not, controller is going to stop the payment of your salary because you are not reporting to work. Then you lose your salary. So we should use this as an opportunity to have that bigger conversation. Now, how do we put in systems and structures to make sure that whether it is through accident, whether it was through sickness, whether it's for any reason why you cannot report to duty, are you supposed to be taken off public payroll? Or there should be some system to make sure that you continue to receive the support? Because if that sickness had not happened to you, you would have continued to go to work. Right. So why should you suffering a sickness become a reason why your pay is stopped? And now the money you actually need to support yourself within that time to be able to regain recovery is rather taken away from you. How does the person recover in order to come back to work? So I think that we should look at it from a bigger picture of people working for the government of Ghana in terms of freak accidents like this, in terms of sickness, in terms of anything that will make it impossible for them to report to duty. What kind of system do we make it compulsory that if the person is established that the person is not well, the payment should continue? As I'm saying this because of the experience I had dealing with that fire service case. They just gave it clear. It's not that he was injured in line of duty. Stroke can happen to anybody, and therefore he's not working, and therefore he doesn't deserve to be paid. And I think that this kind of things should open that bigger conversation for all of us to look at. So if somebody, if the surviving parent has a parent, and the parent depends solely on that child, and the child is gone, and then the state extends support to only the children, the parent who brought up that person before he had children now becomes a destitute. And we should know that there are families that when one person, the person who everybody looks to, something happens to that person, it's like the entire family's survival changes because maybe in the family he's the one paying the school. Look at Mutala, 47 students. They are not his family members. No. He just wants to support people who have desire for education. Wherever he's getting the resources, I do not know. But he's something worthy of note that one person is taking care of 47 students at the medical school. Medical school is 7 years.
Yes. Yes.
And it's taking 47. You can imagine the kind of expenditure. Wow. Now it's gone. You can realize that when you read the tribute by the students, they said when they heard about the death, the first question they asked themselves is, can they continue their education? Because the only person that they know that provides for them is who is gone. Yeah. You understand it? Yeah. So the question is, all these things bring a lot of questions. So if Mustafa has Murtala had not taken it up, those 47 students will not be at the medical school. Yeah. It's a whole system that, how come that people wants to get there, but the state has no support system?
The truth be said, you see, let's be a bit charitable to our own system. Ghana is some decades old. We have had institutions put in place. And like I mentioned earlier on, what we must do as a people is to strengthen the welfare mechanisms within every single institution. Yeah. Now, if you're able to do that, now whoever is affected, whether you are in institution A, institution B, okay, there's a spelled out or outlined, you know, measures put in place to mitigate whatever suffering that would have visited you and your family, as it were. Now, yes, like Elvis says, it's a going concern. It's a discussion we need to have, basically. But we should be careful in the course of doing that, not to also raise issues that, of course, will open up ourselves to issues we may not be able to defend. Like, for example, when suggestions come that, look, when this happens and the person hasn't attained retirement age yet, then the person be paid until some time. We all know of what ghost names have done to our payroll system and how we're even struggling up to date to see how we can win the payroll of some of these untoward behaviors. That is one. Yeah. We all also know that if the person is gone, the person ought to be replaced by another person. Is it a situation where we're going to pay double salary or if like triple salary on a same job that is done? And how productive is that to our institution? All these are questions we need to ask. But I think that, look, when it happens like this, I've always referred to Ghana as a talking nation. We come to sit down and do all the talking. The next moment, there are no actions to back whatever we have said. We have all the fine ideas, but trust me, these are very, you know, abstract ideas. But they are not ideas that we have put on the table to put up together. So, for example, now, fire service. When someone is not well, how do we treat that person per our indoor management rule? When someone dies, how do we treat the family of that person per our indoor management rule? Okay? How is that person's benefit going to pay so fast so that it will cushion them okay, and all this. I think that it's like he said, it's a bigger conversation we need to have, and it is something that we need to pay attention to and ensure that every single institution, and listen, we've forgotten something, the media. You are doing a great job to shape the country. The cameramen, the whoever, what are their benefits? These are people who help us to tell people what we are we are into. These are people who bring the news to us, the newspapers, doing a yeoman's job. Somebody is serving in a newspaper, he's doing all, like Elvis has traced the case of Ghana Fire Service. Who is tracing the case for his newspapers? His staff, workers, his staff. I have always said that every single look, not just the formal areas, we should look at the informal or the private areas as well. I know people who work in the media and they take home 300 cedis a month. I'm telling you, 300 cedis. That is someone's lunch. I'm not saying we are the same, but I'm trying to look at how well we treat, people in that industry, and not just only the media industry. Go to the other private sectors. So if we say we are privatizing, in privatizing there must be laws to tell the person who is establishing the business that, look, when you establish that business, we expect 1, 2, 3, 4 measures to put in place to mitigate the suffering of your own staff in times of difficulties. Right. I'm not sure this exists. What is Media Commission doing about it? Other regulatory bodies that are supposed to be seeing to some of this thing, what are they doing about it? Is it the fact that we just look at content and content is end there? That's the work of Media Commission. It must be those who are bringing the content, what welfare is meted out to them. Right. We have to look at all this as well. Right. Contractors of road contractors and whatever. Go and see how people who work under them as laborers are not even paid for in terms of Senate. They don't pay their Senate. They don't care about them. The person has no benefit tomorrow. These are things we need to look at and shape this country properly. If institutions really work and the laws are actually followed, trust me, we will have a better place to live in as a country.
Right. I like it. And thank you for that one.
Do you know?
Thank you for the advocacy for us.
Do you know the group of people that are so miserable in this issue? The media practitioners.
The media practitioners. It's very sad.
You are assigned to go and cover the presidency or go and cover this ministry.
It's very sad.
They put you on that helicopter. Many media people have been put on a helicopter. We are going to Southern Galamsey. Or the minister is going here. They go fast. They put it there. But all those military equipment they are putting us on there. There has no. If anything happened to you,
you're on your own.
Your media house has no life policy for you. Your media house has not insured your life, so there's no life policy for you. Then they have assigned you to go and do your job. They go and put you in a military helicopter. Military officer has no insurance. So if anything happens, you are dead and gone free. Not side that. Even the presidency. My own friend and colleague, I work with a Ghanaian time, Samuel Nwama, he died in a presidential convoy accident.
What did he get?
The media house had no life policy for him. The presidency has no life policy for him. Even the vehicle that he died, they said it was rented and it doesn't even have insurance. So our own colleague, he died, and there is virtually nothing to support the child he left behind. The mother who he is supplying for, providing for, that he left behind. Nobody knows what is happening to the mother or anybody because he, in line of duty as a journalist, the media has assigned you to go and do a job. Where you are going to do the job has no insurance for anything. Your own life is not insured by your own media house. So when so we are like the victims that if this thing happens to us, your media house has nothing for you. The state institution will tell that you are not working for state institution. You are not working for them. You have been assigned to come and do your job. So you are not their employee. So for you, you are not even part of even the city arrangement. You are not even part of it. So as media people, we are the most vulnerable in this case. You understand? Because this thing that has happened, military, they are working for state. The politicians are working for state. Assuming there was a media person in it, who is that? He's not working for a state institution. So you see, we as media people in this country, we are very vulnerable. You are assigned to go somewhere. The private company say, "Oh, we are going to Kumasi." They put you in a bus. They take you there. In anything happening to you on that journey, who takes responsibility in terms of anything? Nobody takes because you. The company who even actually put you in that car and send you there has no life policy for you.
I think the new executive of GJA must take this thing up and then look at it.
So you realize that if there's anybody very vulnerable in this thing we are talking
It's
about.
the media.
It's the media. Yeah. You go and the military carry, we are going to Bundasi for training. They put you there, you go. If anything happens, if there's a stray bullet in that training and it hits you, the media person,
you're gone.
You are gone.
And that's it.
There will be nothing for you because
that's the end of you.
The military, you see. Yeah. So this issue that we are talking about, as journalists, we should be concerned. How come we go and sit in military vehicles and helicopters when we know very well that those things have no insurance. Our life company we work also have not given us life insurance. So in the discharge of our duty as journalists, we are the ones that are at the biggest risk that if anything happens to us, nothing. Maybe your company will come and say, okay, we'll buy we'll take the cost of the funeral, or we'll buy your coffin. When the burial is over,
that's it.
Your wife, your children, everything, even the company you work for may not have anything for them. The state will not have anything. Meanwhile, you are going to cover a state function. Okay, as I said to Samuel Nwama, he went to follow presidential convoy. It's a presidential correspondent. But when he died, today, who has anything that they pay to the wife and children monthly that is to take care of his child, his son? Nobody is giving anything monthly. That's what I'm saying. That this fund thing, though it is happening at this moment, the conversation should be bigger. The state should be asking. We need the media to cover our event. What if the media is on the trip with that and something happens? Is there any provision for them? Or we are going to say it is only those who work for the state are the ones, because they are the ones that are state employees. For the media, they are employees of another organization, so they should go to the organization for they take care of them. What if the organization has
no life policy?
Does not have life policy for their life. That means that whether you are dead or you are maimed for nothing. And at the end of the day, some of the media houses, in 3 months of sickness, they even take you off the payroll that you are not working. There are media houses. I know people who got stroke in some media houses. In 6 months' time, they were taken off payroll. They were taken off payroll. Even the little they are getting was gone because they say you are not contributing to the company. They need somebody to come and do that. So this issue of freak accident or accidents in general happening, the biggest culprit, those of us who will be there, who will really lose out a lot, is the media. Because if you are assigned to go and do a job, you can't say that because you don't have a life policy, you will not go. Will you say that? You can't say that. But Boku, they send you there now that a city correspondent go and do coverage in Boku, and some stray bullets from somewhere come to hit you. The state doesn't care about that. Because they tell you are not working for the state. You are working for some organization. You are there doing your work. So I think that we, the journalists ourselves, we need to take this issue up very seriously and ask questions and begin to push for the state to do something that covers everybody. Right.
Thank you, Elvis. Victor, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to see you. Good to have you
here. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, well, on the issue of the 6 that were laid to rest as part of the entire 8, of course, we know the total number is 8 unfortunate deaths. Finally, we've said our goodbyes, a very befitting funeral and burial service on Friday. But we're looking at those they've left behind and how their survival will be. Of course, the pain and anguish won't go away today. And we as a country cannot even do anything to ameliorate that pain. But how do we take care of them? Bearing in mind that the president has announced a fund for the victims or the children of the victims. But these victims have spouses. Some have surviving parents. Some have external dependents. So, I mean, how do we take care of all these people if you agree that we should?
I think that, first of all, let me say thank you to the whole nation. At least I think we've given them a befitting burial. It was solemn, well organized, and I think that they will forever remain in our hearts. And their names will be written in letters of gold in the annals of the history of this country. I think it was a step in the right direction that these are all breadwinners. They have dependents, they have, it was just imagine that, sometimes you take care of others, people who don't even know. Sometimes your spouse and your family don't even know the people that you extend the largest to, people that you take care, people who depend on you. And I think that the fund that has been created, we should look at it and, it should go beyond the usual school fees and the rest, as he has said about the necessaries of life. You know, I sat down the other day, I was thinking, my boys will be asking, Daddy, we want PS5. So who are they, these children going to ask that we want PS5?
Yeah.
You know, we want PS5, we want to play games. Or we want to go out, or I've seen this. So those are some of the necessaries of life that we should look at. And it is, I think for me, like we've said, it is something that fund should grow, that we should be able to look at it, looking at the necessaries of life that we'll be able to apply. 2, yes, beyond the fund, I think that one of the good things which I think that happened during the Major Mahama, when he was there, I think afterwards, the wife was economically empowered. I think she was given some employment that would take care. So, in spite of the fact that we have a fund, they should look at the young women, you know, the widows who are very young, who are active, who are working, or even some of the children who will be able to, so that they'll be empowered, given some jobs, some opportunities, that whilst they are working, I'm sure that at least it will tone down, water down the sorrow, the pain, maybe some of the mothers, the dependents, because if they are working, they will also be able to complement what government will be giving to them. I think we should look at that we give them those employment, so that at the end of the day, right, although they've lost their parents, their fathers, and the rest, they will know that God has taken it one way, and he has given us another opportunity. That would make them also know that, look, we've not lost everything at the end of the day. But I think that as the president has called, it is time for us to show love to the people. The corporate citizens, individuals, organizations, we should be able to grow this fund. That this fund, for once and for all, once it's being invested, there will not be any need for us to come and contribute, because it will be managed. And when it's being managed and it is growing, it takes care of that. It does not become a liability, that there's no fund. That I think when this thing was done for the May 9th, those people, at the point, it terminated, it was truncated. Yes, it started very well, but we're not able to maintain it. I think this fund should not be such a thing. We've had examples. So how do we make sure that this fund grows? It's wealth management. Wealth management, we should have learned people who are expertise within this should be able to grow this beyond number of years. Maybe 30 years, it is still there. So that whilst it is there, we'll be able, it should not be after some years, then it is truncated. Then it brings back that pain, that anger, you know. I've been a teacher before. You know, sometimes you teach people and so, or you meet some people, so why didn't you continue to school? You say, oh, my father died, or my mother died. So I had to stop school, becomes a dropout, and you have to struggle through life. You know, it's a difficult thing.
Indeed.
But we should be able to assuage, make sure that their pain, you know, we smoothing the pain, and at least there will be a mixed feeling. Although they are remembering, they will also be happy and say that God has given us another opportunity. That's what I can say. But I thank everybody who was there, those who organized. It was a solemn thing. And, you know, sometimes it gets to a point that I can't even watch the television. I can't watch. I just, you know, still, like, it's a dream. It's a nightmare. But, you know, all we can say in all things, give thanks to God.
Well, thank you. Let's move to some other issues. Let's go on to the Pokwasi and Sawam Highway. I'm not sure what exactly is on that stretch that we are unable over the period. Over the weekend, there was a crazy gridlock. You can't move, you can't go, you cannot come. And so now the GPRC is threatening to strike over this matter. Residents in the area have done a demonstration already. We hear the contractor is mobilizing to move to site. But Haji, can we deal with this Pokwasi and Sawam road once and for all, so we can have some respite in this country?
Well, thank you very much. The last time I checked, we're told that some compensation issues were lingering, and as a result, work stalled. Compensation as in the peoples whose properties were on that stretch that they ought to demolish for construction to go on. So monies supposed to be paid them had some difficulties along the way. That's one. Two, contractor himself suffering as a result of funding because it's a GOG project, as it were. And three, they had some difficulty as in, you know, basically it's about funding and of course the compensation and some moving of, you know, utility, if you like, channels equipment, water, Ghana Water and ECG have their poles or some issues they need to move. So these three major issues were the issues that they cited to be stalling the project, as it were. Where we are now, currently, I do not have, but I will urge the media once again to investigate properly to find out where exactly are we. Okay? If it's about funding, let me tackle it from here. Do we have a priority as a country? And is governance or government a continue, as we rightly say? Look, there are critical roles in this country, especially our trunk roads, that we shouldn't joke with at all. We shouldn't put NDC, MPP to it at all, no matter what. America is where it is today because production is actually on top notch. And what they do is that if between maybe New Jersey and New York, there's supposed to be access for some factories to be able to move their whatever, they will make sure that is done devoid of politics. Our problem is, I ask the question whether government is a continuous asset in this country. If MPP is embarking on a project and NDC comes, NDC will say because MPP was doing it, if we finish it, it is their credit. NDC, and vice versa, that's what happens. You see, we have to call a spade and stop some of these things. That's where the problem is. The money is for Ghana. The money is not for NDC or MPP. So if you have given a contract, look, let me give you an example. Look at the Pukasi interchange. When Akufo-Addo came, it was zero work done. However, NDC initiated it, went to African Development Bank, got some loan, and then espoused why we needed that interchange. When Akufo-Addo came, he said, no, let's build on it. He went, it was supposed to be two or three tier. He went and then modified and said, look, let's do a 4th tier. So we will need this amount of money. Government of Ghana added a little bit. African Development Bank gave us the money, and that Pukasi interchange is done. So I expect when NDC comes, this project, I'm told, is about $342 million, Ghana cedis or so, the amount. And it's just about 32 or 32.4 kilometers. It's not much. So what is stopping it? If government of Ghana can get over 300 million to buy sanitary pads, for students we don't even know, you cannot get $100 million Ghana city to give to a contractor to ease the way for us. Come on, it's our priority. When we say this, they say it's politics. It's not politics. Malam Yaboransa Road, we knew the 9th May before Kufuor and Co came. Kasua, when he came, they did it. When Atamans came and met N1, it was Kufuor's initiative. Atamans didn't say because it's Kufuor's initiative, and he continued it. And even when he was to cut this, to commission it, he invited President Kufuor. This is how we build Ghana. Look, this matter is not supposed to be looked with the lenses of NDC is doing, MPP is doing it. I beg we communicators. And I want to beg us on this matter. Take Adenta Road to Ebri. It took again the MPP to think of the Tokwashi roundabout, get Adenta Road done. It is helping us. Okay? Rawlings also did his. The Akwaje interchange. It was nothing. Rawlings came and did it. It's helping Ghana. So anything that has to do with roads, with the greatest of respect to we politicians, my brother and Adawudu and myself here, with the greatest respect to us, we can do all the politics. But look, the suffering, we also go through it. I drove to Kumasi last 2 weeks. On my way back, my brother, it was a nightmare. From Nsawam When I got to Dobro or whatever they call it,
Dobro.
Now to get into Accra, you won't believe it. I spent not less than 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
That stretch alone, I spent 2 hours driving. I got tired, so I asked myself, those who live there and had to commute daily
Exactly.
to work, how
back.
do they survive? That was the question I asked myself. So I beg you, if the compensation is the issue, at the force you are listening, you have given 4 billion Ghana cedis to road ministry. Instruct them out of the 4 billion Ghana cedis, they should pay the contractor. It's 700 million. If you can get 300 million for sanitary pad, get 300 million out of the 4 billion. Let Marapoma go back to that stretch. Thank God it's a local contractor. Marapoma Ali is a local contractor who has been given that. And I think I should commend Amakwata and Asensu and Ku for doing that. This local content, we must encourage it. We bring the Chinese, they do shoddy work sometimes with a great respect. And then we have a problem. So I think that this is a straightforward matter. It can be solved. Let's tackle it head on. And then once and for all, the people living there are also Ghanaians. And they vote. More so, they even voted more for NDC now. Amasama constituency voted more. And you won. And you are happy about it. And yet they are there suffering. Right. I think this matter, like I said, let us, with all respect, take a bit of politics out of it and look at technical issues.
Yeah.
If the money is meant for payment to be made for contractors, instruct or sit down with the road minister. Tell the road minister that, look, this 32.4 kilometers road is a very important road to us to open up into 2 cities, Kumasi and Accra.
Yeah.
Economically, we need it.
Yeah.
So just sit down and let us discuss it. Out of that money, we want 200 million. How much have been paid to the contractor already? Do the mathematics. Get him this. Let him get on the side. The compensation, let's get this. Then defer other things that are not so important. Then we'll be able to get this once and for all. And stop this rhetoric.
Better.
Yeah. Dean, come on.
Yes.
Alaji, I think that I'm speaking on authority. I was at the ministry last week.
Okay.
And I knew that the contractor for this and Sawam of Angkor Road was having a meeting with the minister.
Okay.
Right. They were, because of and especially is the artillery routes, the of Angkor and Sawam, the Pung, Katamanso, is it the Pung Jerusalem Gate to Dowenya?
To Dowenya.
Then the Winneba route, the Kaswa Winneba stretch. I think all of them had meetings with the minister. And the minister is working assiduously to make sure that the issues that are with the roads, they are able to, because the hue and cry from the citizens, they are there to serve the citizens. They are serving, So I can tell you that something is being done about it. I'm sure it was some of these reasons that they are now even trying to change the road fund into a trust fund, maintenance a trust fund, so that we can have a dedicated money that will be used for these artillery roads. And even, I know the road from Ashama right down to, I think the Akosombo, Atimpoku, that stretch, the issues are being discussed and the road minister is on top of it.
7 months of discussion is too long.
No, it's
too long. 8 months, 7 months.
What happened was that he had to go around all over the country to audit the roads, and make sure what are the teething problems that we have. I can tell you some of the roads, looking at some of the contract, how it was drafted, some of them are saying that they have breached. And the way it was drafted, they had little issues with it. So what's the issues that were had with this road? Now the contractors are being brought on board, and the finance minister has been so generous, gracious, or at least squeeze some money for the road sector to see things that are going on. So Ali, I'm sure within some months, within some months, especially this road.
So we should take your word for it.
Oh yes.
That's the assurance you are giving us.
The man just spoke like a lawyer. He has said he has not committed himself one bit.
No. I'm telling you that I was.
He spoke like a lawyer.
He
never committed himself yet.
But he's assuring that he was there. And he's okay. So
what's that? The road ministry.
So what's the assurance?
He said he saw them. He's assuring us. And only to add that it was meetings they had.
Oh no, they had meetings in relation to the road.
And what was the outcome of the meeting?
Not meeting.
What was the outcome? The outcome of the meeting.
You see, when you diagnose the problem, you know how you can resolve it.
Right.
Right. We can't say yes, this is a problem. What are the difficulties that the contractors are facing? Some of them deliberately are saying that payments have not been made, that we have breached some of the provisions. Yeah. And they are saying that no, if you look at it, we haven't breached because we have not really sat down to look at it. So that's why I'm giving you the assurance that something will be done by this road, especially the artillery roads for this country.
Very well.
And I'm sure that I think that the good thing also is that this rainy season has exposed some of the engineering loopholes that we normally have. You know, they construct a road, and when rain sets in, you see some of the engineering problems that we have. The design, some places water will collect in the road.
Yeah.
And with this one that we are seeing now, it exposes this, and the engineers and the consultants should be able to see that, look, what is going on when the rain sets in. So for everything, I think it's a good cause, and the minister will not be sleeping, knowing what is going on. And I can also assure...
hold that thought for me. Hold that thought for me. I need to take a break briefly. Yeah. But let me take this break. I'll come back to you, and then you can land on that point for me. But keep your messages coming in. This is the news review segment on Breakfast Daily. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One Television. We're having the news review segment, and we're discussing matters of national concern and, of course, those that bother you and I. A few of your messages have come in. I'll read them quickly, and then I'll go to counsel to wrap up his contribution on the road for us. This one says, good morning. Whenever Elvis Daco is in your studio, I always glue myself to the seat. He always goes deep into the subject matter. Your name is Muhammadu Abdul Basit from Tamale. Thank you. Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm. You say, good morning, my brother. In my humble opinion, setting up a fund at Stanbic Bank to take care of the children of the 8 gallant men who died in the helicopter crash is the best way to go. Okay, government as a matter of urgency should add insurance policies to it, because in Ghana we have problems of managing funds for beneficiaries, and the records are out there for all of us to see. In my opinion, these eight gallant men should be honored because they died in the line of duty in the interest of the nation. Okay. This one says, good morning. Lawyer Victor once taught me at a sutuari in the Shai Osudoku district, formerly Dangme West. His guidance and dedication left a lasting impact on me. Your name is Henry Cecil Akuno. He's now with Dangme West NHIS, Dodua.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. There's one road has been horrible for a very long time, and I think 7 months is too short for the NDC to have it done, considering the fact that someone could not do it in 8 years, given it some time. You see, when we politicize the issues, we won't fix it. Let's give time some time. The road really needs to be fixed because it's really in a bad shape, and then the NDC must stop giving us excuses and do the job. My greetings to you and your panel. And you say, come 2028, DMB will rescue Ghana. Okay, Hamza from Tamale sent that warning. All right, so you can also send your messages to us, and we'll do our best to read them. Let us know your thoughts and your contributions to the show. Council. Yeah.
I also want to assure everybody that the president from day one, even whilst he started all the meeting of various groups, the chiefs and the people, one of the cardinal things everybody was asking about was the projects that had been started, the roads. And he made it clear that his government would finish all projects started either by MPP or NDC. All projects will be fixed. We will not start new projects and leave them as pork barrel projects or elephant projects. You will make sure that, so I know audit is being done for all projects that has been abandoned. So let me assure Kamal that, listen, the president, he is in the driving seat, and he has said it, that all projects that have been started by MPP and they have not even finished, we will continue and fix it, because government is a continuum. And you know, this is the president that this is his last lap for him constitutionally. This is his last lap. He cannot. and he wants to leave a legacy.
Right.
And that's all we are all praying to say that, look, this is a president who has come. He did his first term. He learned his lessons. He had seen what went wrong. And now, this is the moment. And the way he's going even tells you that, you know, it was a time of reflection when he came into opposition. He's learned and he's going step by step. And everybody is happy the way he's going. And we pray that, as he said, we will find that money. He will have the strength, the wisdom to be able to complete all the projects. At the end of the day, those projects were put there for the benefit of society, for the benefit of citizens, right? The politicians will play, go and put a plaque. This was commissioned by me. This was initiated by me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the benefit goes to the society.
Right.
It goes to, so I'm sure as he said it, we will hold him by his word, right? If he doesn't do it, who suffers? At the end of the day, it is his party who will suffer. And I'm sure the president will want his party to suffer.
Very well.
He will want the best for his party, and the project as is being audited, I'm sure they will scale it, the priority, what has to be done quickly, and I'm sure the roads, everywhere he went during the campaign, it's about roads. And you see, roads, I did some studies or some case study which tells you it was a forest. It was bringing in money, tourism, and the rest. Then the government decided that they wanted to construct a road. The people were like, but this brings us revenue. But when they decided, the whole thing was, I'll keep it for revenue. Then the leader decided that we will construct a road. It was through a mountainous area. Do you know, roads, when it's constructed, it brings improvement, economic activities, because everybody now, the land and other things become valuable. Now people come in to start development. So that's the kind of thing that when it comes to road, that's why everybody will be crying for road. And I think that government knows that the roads, it's high priority, and it will be done.
Isn't it interesting, just a minute, isn't it interesting that we are struggling with 32.4 kilometers to open up our two major cities? And instead of fixing that, we are rather talking about expressway.
I knew you mentioned that.
Why do we do some of these things?
No, you see,
My brother Kwame,
let's hear from Elvis.
That's the same thing I was telling him about the express.
No, we've not said it's not there, but you do this one
You see, they felt that on it, but if you do the express, it will be told. And whilst the express is that, it will be a dedicated.
Do what?
But it's been done simultaneously.
You are talking from Accra to
Kumasi. Do we have money?
You see, monies, look at the airport. Monies that we borrowed to do it. Today is not paying for.
It is.
So there's the same
We have
template
no problem.
we are going to use.
Very well.
Same template.
Let's hear from Elvis on the Pokwasi
It will
road.
pay for itself.
Well, let's hope so.
Elvis, your thoughts on this road?
Oh, okay. We all know that Accra to Kumasi Road is like, it should have been one of the most important roads in Ghana. Because apart from Accra, Kumasi is the next most economically viable city in Ghana, and the second largest to Accra. So doing that road should be a priority for a nation like Ghana. But for all these years, we've not really made it a priority as a country. Not really a priority. The road from Accra to Kumasi, according to the roads ministry, is 240 kilometers. 240 kilometers. So far, various sections have been dualized. And the sections that have been dualized is estimated to be 100 kilometers. And currently work is going on in other sections that is estimated to around 46 kilometers. So it means that there's still 100 kilometers that we have not even started anything on in terms of the dualization process. And right now, this road we are talking about, it started in July 2022. And the completion date is supposed to be July 2024. It is a 33.4 kilometers of Angkor to Nsawam. 33.4 kilometers. And it's the cost is $346.5 million, not cedis.
No, it's dollars, right?
It's 345.6
$46.5
million.
365.
Yeah, not cities.
$346.5
million. That's what the project is costing. The road as we see it, we are complaining. By engineering standard, it is 75% complete. It is 75% complete. Because if you drive the road, you see that all the bridges, the interchanges, the footbridges, you see a lot of them have been constructed. So it means that the entire work that is left to be done there is just 25%. That is supposed to be done. But because that aspect is where we drive on and feel comfortable and it's yet to be done, we all complain. So it means the road actually is behind schedule for about a year because we are in August. See, this is a problem with government of Ghana funded projects. If you are funding such a project with government of Ghana money, the problem is that it runs into problems because government of Ghana is a broke government, has no money. So once you ask the government of Ghana to fund any project, running into challenges is a norm, not an exception. The Eastern Corridor Road, President Mills cut short for it. Because the loan we were expecting from China, we couldn't get all the money and they cut short. Up to today, the Eastern Corridor, there are portions that are still not completed. Because we then tried that if the loan failed, let's try and use government of Ghana. Government of Ghana revenue, as I've said here, and all the finance ministers will tell you, by the time you collect all revenue in a year, when you pay salaries, you pay interest on our loans, and you pay statutory funds, almost 60-70% of the money I've collected is gone.
Yeah.
So the money for road, hospital, all this development that we are all yearning for, the sustainable way of doing it is to go and borrow. Because then the government of Ghana's source of funding, raising domestic capital to do it, is really impossible. So I'm not surprised that this road is suffering this fate, especially when the economy ran into trouble and then we had to do a complete debt restructuring, go to the IMF and the rest. Around that time, government actually was totally broke, no money. And we also don't have access to the capital market. So now, salaries and the rest, and even to pay, government will need to now be running to the T-bills market and be borrowing every week in order to be able to keep those ones even going. So it shouldn't be as a surprise that the project is what it is because we all know where we have been to since 2020 till now. The economy, the state of the economy. It's now that the economy is recovering and we are hoping that we'll get revenue. The first half reports from GRA shows that even customs revenue, they couldn't meet their target. They missed their target by about 1.6 billion for the first half of the year. Customs could not even get enough of the revenue per the projections. So if the the collections, we are even missing our target, where do we get money to go and do some of these things? So we should all understand, everybody in this country will attest the fact that when we went into the IMF and the rest, every project that is funded by donors came to a standstill. Why? Because the donor said, you are going to change the terms of the loans that we are giving you. So wait till we are completed with all the process to know the new terms. And if we are okay, we'll release additional money. So a lot of projects have stalled. And you see, these are the challenges we face as a country. We need to be careful. Per the Auditor General's report that just came out, in 2024 alone, work contractors have done, because by the government standard, contractors are supposed to look for the money, do the project, and they agreed milestones that when you reach, they submit certificate for payment. And then when the contractor is paid, then you use that money to continue. So all the projects you see, the contractor actually do mobilization by the contractor himself, start the project, and when he gets that milestone, they submit certificates for payment. If the contractor submits certificate for payment and is not paid, why do you expect the contractor to get money to continue? This contractor said the project that we are complaining about, the only problem is that he submitted certificates for payment and it's not been paid. Meanwhile, the money that is not being paid are loans the contractor has taken from banks. So interest is accruing. Last year alone, per the Auditor General report, contractors have submitted their certificates to Government of Ghana for payment, and we have not paid. And by the clauses in the contract, if we are not paying, interest accrues on the money. Interest alone that has accrued on contractor certificates that we have not paid for last year is over 650 million. That is not the actual project cost.
Just the interest.
That's the interest that what government has said, do this, bring certificate, I'll pay you. They've done it. They sent certificate. Engineers have gone to inspect and say, yes, they've done it. And we were unable to pay. The interest alone on those monies is over 650 million. So when we issue contracts out and we know obviously that there will be problems, the money we actually even lose in terms of interest for not paying them on time could even fix a lot of road. Can you imagine, we say this is $46 million, and we are paying 650 million Ghana cedis. If the dollar is 1:12, calculate. At least about $100 million is what we are paying just for interest for the money we were unable to pay on time. And by the clauses in the contract, government of Ghana is supposed to pay. So you can see clearly that when you are using government of Ghana to fund projects, we have problems. And then the issue of us issuing multiple contracts around, when we know that we don't have much money, it's also another issue. We do projects and it's a political party that wants to do it and get the credit. So it's not like we have a master plan and say Kumasi to Accra is 240 kilometers. Okay, 240 kilometers, if you want to dualize it, I saw budgets that the total amount is about $1.7 or $2 billion. Let's say we are giving ourselves the next 5 years to dualize Accra to Kumasi. It is what? It is $2 billion. $2 billion divided by 5. Every year we are putting $400 million for it. In 5 years, because we've done it sustainably, as every budget to provide $400 million, we will complete that project in 5 years. And we will not give other multiple contracts that are putting pressure on us. We want to complete Accra Kumasi. So we will give contracts that we know that the resources we have will be manageable. Then the interest that we are paying on those certificates that we are not able to pay on time, losing that money just for not paying interest, would have gone into doing other roads. 650 million Ghana cedis could do some feeder road for a long distance in some community. But now we are paying it as free money to contractors because when they brought their certificate, we couldn't honor the certificate on time. And per the contract, they may declare that the money they are using to do business are loans from banks. And therefore, if they go for the loans and they do the project to the milestone agreed, and they bring their certificate, they don't pay, interest starts accruing. And then we go and pay all this money as interest, not as part of the contract cost. If the project delay like this, damages come, and assuming there is currency fluctuation, they also call another thing called variation, meaning that if we agree that maybe cement will be 10 cedis, but because of delay and everything, now cement goes to 12 cedis, the contractor has a right to review the cost of the contract. And if you look at how much we even pay for variation of contracts in this country, you realize that our system is not really being managed properly in terms of we deciding that as a country, instead of giving multiple contracts because we want votes, we should just say that, look, this year, this is the number of contracts we think that the revenue that can come in the next 2-3 years can afford. Let's do a master plan. Because, see, you go to promise the people on the campaign trail. So you are in a hurry to try, and your period is only 4 years. You're in a hurry to try and give everybody something small. So we start the project scattered all around, and then we are unable to find the money to pay for all. And then a lot of the projects now hang up. And you see, this project also has attracted a lot of public attention now because somebody told the president to go to Kumasi and tell Otufo that he's going to do an expressway. And then people say, the one that is ongoing, it's not complete. So why are you promising us an expressway? At least talk about the one that is ongoing. In fact, the president actually didn't talk about the one that is ongoing. So the person, what is happening? A project is ongoing. You are not telling us what you are doing to complete it. But you are talking about expressway. You can't find money to pay the one that is there. Say expressway. Where are you going to get the money? So people got angry and said, no, this thing should not be entertained. Is the government abandoning the project? Because the communication sounds as if the one that is there, the government is not going to have anything to do with it. And that they are going to do their own in the name of NDC has done 6-lane expressway from Accra to Kumasi.
With pictures.
And the people say,
beautiful pictures.
What are you talking about? The one that's over to tell us that we will finish this one
by this date.
And then we'll do this one. So you see, sometimes I tell people that the appointees around the president, the kind of things they tell the president to go and say at functions, it's even the biggest problem. I'm telling you that all this brouhaha, the road is bad, we all know. I used that road 2 weeks ago to Kumasi. When I came out to go and find some painkillers, my entire body. I didn't even drive. I sat in VIP in when I was coming. I sat on that 2M Express small bag. Following, they have to go and look for painkillers. When I came, my body was spinning. So I understand. But I can tell you that when I'm going to this and I'm buying painkillers, and I told the president to give me assurance that that portion will be done soon. And the president go to Ashanti and didn't even talk about completing this one. And then what I hear is that the president saying that, we are going to do 6 lane express to Kumasi. The person who is in this pain will be angry with the president.
Exactly.
You understand it? Right. So let communication, people around the prayer point, when they are going to the president to brief him what to go and say in public functions, they should try and give the president the right briefing. When you go to Kumasi, their biggest problem is the road to Kumasi. So tell them the government is trying to find money to do this one, complete it. The remaining 100 kilometers, the government will complete it. And when we do that one, we believe that Kumasi will need additional express road.
Very well.
So then when that is done, then the people will be like, okay. But when you go and the president did not mention anything about this one. But what they hear is that they say expressway. Ghanaians will not, you see, so they are opening the president up for attacks that should not be needless attacks.
Very well, obviously.
You understand? Based on the way they made the president to go and speak in public functions.
Thank you. I'm even worried that we are not discussing our railway system in this country. But, well, I mean, we have a few minutes to go, but we have some more stories to look at. Council, let me come to you on this letter by the Bar Council of England and Wales, demanding the reinstatement of the CJ.
Yes, everybody has an opinion.
Yeah.
I think the Bar Council in England and the Commonwealth, yes, we belong to the Commonwealth. Yes, as a Commonwealth, we belong to Commonwealth countries. But I think that they've gotten it wrong. You see, every country has its own constitution. And whilst we wrote our constitution, this constitution was written way back in 1992. Yeah. Right? And I'm sure if they have read or they have had briefing about our constitution, that there is a mode, there is a procedure that we have to go, and we are going through the procedure. You cannot just come and say that reinstate the person when the committee had not even finished its work. Then I'm sure the committee's work has been delayed by the applications that we are seeing in court and the rest, and automatically you must follow due process. So whilst the application in court, there is no way the committee will be able to go on. It's been stalled. But you see, they should have just been saying that, we are watching and we are listening, that if due process will be followed, which I believe is being followed, than then saying that we are issuing an ultimatum to a sovereign country. Yeah. Right? And I don't see how lawyers, even in Britain, will issue ultimatum to their government that do A, B, C, D. You see, they should not rake those colonial mentality and say that, look, this is what we used to do, and the people will still influence them with it. No. I think every country is a sovereign country. You see, they should not belittle our intelligence. Exactly. Even people in this country are watching keenly. They want to see that the right thing has been done. Right. And I'm showing you that, and I know that the right thing is being followed. With every judgment, anything will come. We'll see the positives, we'll see the negatives. That's why the society is open to criticize. Society is also guided by public opinion. What is public opinion? What does the public think? Right? So I'm sure the right thing should be done. But it should not be like an order from a body somewhere. Very well. You see?
Thank you, Council.
Yeah.
Alaji.
As a student of the law, who studying under my good brother, who am I to say much on this matter? However, in as much as we are a sovereign country, and we use what we call the dualist approach in terms of our laws. When I say dualist approach, we do not also renege on our external commitments in terms of treaties and conventions that we have signed. Let us always be mindful of the fact that it's a global community. And a global community, like he rightly put it, every single member has an opinion. More so when Ghana is a member of the Commonwealth. More so when Britain has some ties with us some time ago. Yes, we may be very sovereign, we may be okay, but it doesn't take away the fact that they also have their opinion on matters or issues that, of course, affects the generality. Why am I saying the generality? Every citizen of UK or Britain or any other country that we have relations with that comes into our jurisdiction, the confidence that the person may have or must have in our judiciary is imperative. Very, very important. That is why even when there's a military regime, a coup d'etat, usually the institution they don't touch is the judiciary. Even if there is a coup d'etat, usually. So it is a concern for many countries. I am worried. Of course, they don't have the right to give us an ultimatum anyway.
Yeah.
However, the right to espouse an opinion, the right to say that, look, we are also watching. We should be guided by this.
Yeah.
Government will come, government will go. My brother Adewuda mentioned it. He said President Mahama is struggling to leave a legacy. He's working hard to leave a legacy because this is his last term. I don't think he would like to leave a blot on his legacy. When tomorrow somebody will say that the judiciary, we shook it, but we didn't shake it well. And once we didn't shake it well, it has affected the future of the judiciary.
Right.
That is a danger.
Right.
So for me, we should tread cautiously, in as much that we are sovereign, but we should also be mindful of the fact that we belong to a global community where ideas may come on board, as it were,
Thank
for
you,
contributions.
Elvis, you have a minute on this.
See, this issue of sovereignty is important. But the question is, have people read the statement? They did not say the Chief Justice should not be probed. They're saying that since you have refused to publish the prima facie case, the reason why you are suspending the Chief Justice, you have no reason to suspend the Chief Justice. That's their position. They are not saying that the probe that is ongoing should. They say after the probe they will follow.
You see the other.
But their position is that the suspension, so far they have not found any reason that the state is citing for the suspension. And that's why they think that for an arm of government to suspend the head of an arm of government and not give the specific reasons for suspension, that is what they are questioning. They are not against the probe, against the CJ. But they are saying that if you say the person should step aside in suspension.
Is the president mandated to publish the reason?
If you look at our constitution, it says it should be in camera.
Look,
that was why when the Chief Justice went to court and said this is what had happened, then people went back to court and said that
point is very important.
No, so that's why I said
lawyer, we know the constitutional provision.
All proceedings is in camera.
The bar council,
there's a reason they are saying that it should be open, which is contrary to
the bar council. Do you think that they've not read Ghana constitution? They don't know what Ghana constitution. They know. But they are saying that to suspend the head of the arm of government, and you not making the basis for the suspension known, then they think that the suspension is unmerited.
It's nebulous, actually.
Do you understand it? So the people attacking the bar council and they did not say that the probe against the CJ should not be done. They said they are monitoring that one. But they say the suspension, their issue is with the suspension. And they raise issues why they think the suspension is unmerited. They raise issue of the Chief Justice human rights being violated. They raise, so if you read the thing very well, you will not go and block everything as if they are just saying that the Chief Justice should not be investigated at all. They said for the suspension, they have issues with it because the basis for the suspension is not known. And so on what basis did you suspend the person? The person you are suspending herself doesn't know, the public doesn't know. If you say the law says the president should be published.
It's a sad situation.
If the discretion of the president whether to make known or not to make known.
This is where it comes in. The discretion was expressed by the president when they did not say he should give the petition to the petitioner. But he chose to give it to the petitioner. We praised him.
Yes.
Why is that on this one there?
I choose not to give it to you because it's still my discretion.
That's the point. So if you choose not to give,
to be manifestly done.
When you choose not to give, it does not just prevent people from striking you for not giving. Do you understand it? You are expressing your
urging the president to violate what the constitution has
Thank you. To the CJ.
Because it's also not there that to give it to the CJ.
But that's the discretionary power he has. Thank you, gentlemen. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. We'll find time to do this again. Thank you so much. This has been the News Review segment here on Breakfast Daily. Stay with us. The show continues after this.